5 seconds. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to support the demand relating to electricity. We have been hearing from time to time about the production and consumption of electricity in other countries. In this connection, it has been pointed out that we must not be complacent about what we have achieved in this regard. I would like to point out that it is one thing to say that there is still a long way to go, and it is a different thing to say that we have not done anything at all. In my opinion, I must say on this occasion that what the government have achieved during the last few years and what they propose to do in the near future is something of which we may be proud. At the same time, it does not mean that the government have done all that is possible in respect of every area. The government have set apart a sum of rupees 7 crores for rural electrification. I am sure that this shows that the government are aware of their responsibilities to meet the needs of the people of the state. But even here, we have to be a little careful. For instance, one honorable member pointed out that side by side with providing electricity, steps should be taken also to provide employment. If we want to incur a huge expenditure on providing electricity without at the same time providing for employment, it is something which should be looked into. As far as possible, we should take steps to see that every part of the machinery required for our projects is manufactured in our own country. As long as we depend upon foreign countries for this purpose, we will not be able to achieve our objective in spite of the fact that we spend a lot of money on these projects. Our progress in all fields will not be to the extent which we would like. So, I would very much like our Honorable Minister to take steps to see that every article that we require for the production and supply of electricity is manufactured in this country itself. I would request him to include a scheme in this regard in the 5 year plan. Then it is said by some people that the hydroelectric resources in the state are being exhausted. In this connection, I would like to point out that for the purpose of economic production of electricity, we have to take into consideration the resources available in the neighboring states also, which we can use with the cooperation of those states. I hope that the Honorable Minister will take necessary steps in the matter. I am glad that the Honorable Minister has laid stress on the fact that the electricity department is being run as a commercial proposition. But I do not know whether the peoples working in the department realize this. No doubt it has to be looked at as a commercial enterprise. If we want to run it as a commercial enterprise, steps must be taken to make economies as far as possible and whenever necessary. At the same time, we must also try to increase the revenue by selling more power. We must also take necessary steps to spread the use of electricity to the maximum extent possible. In this connection, I must point out that the interest of the consumers also should be taken into consideration. The government must take all steps to encourage the people to use more and more power. Unless the people begin to use more and more power, the objective of the government cannot be achieved. At the same time, the government must also see whether it is possible to make economies. It is said that there should be a return in respect of certain works to the extent of about 10%. But we must take note of the fact that this represents 3% interest and the other charges. That is why I want the government to look into the matter and see whether the overhead charges can be reduced. I am of the opinion that if only government take care to reduce the overhead charges to make some economies in some respects and at the same time reduce the rates and encourage the people to use electricity more and more, they can easily achieve their objective. With these few words, I conclude my speech and I thank you for the time given to me to speak